In the past few years, there has been a lot of discussion and controversy about GMOs, or genetically modified organisms. This term means that genes from other plants, animals, viruses, or bacteria have been transferred, gene spliced, or forced into the organism, changing its DNA.
As you have probably heard, Proposition 37 requires that all genetically modified foods have a label indicating that the product or ingredient has been genetically modified. This proposition is important to all of us. As California residents, we should be free to know, free to choose, and free to make informed decisions. Proposition 37 is really about your choice and the choices of all other California residents to make informed decisions, to know, and to choose as consumers of food products. Proposition 37 reflects our choice and our right to know. And who doesn't like that?
It is the big companies like Monsanto and DuPont that have put millions of dollars into advertising against Prop 37. And these companies are the ones that make profit on genetically modified foods. They can genetically modify the plant so that if a bug bites it, it dies without spraying the plant with pesticides. They can also genetically modify plants so that if you spray them with very strong pesticides, they will not wither and die. These pesticides are so strong that they would kill any other plant. These types of gene sequences have never been created before in nature. Therefore, your body rejects it as foreign, creating inflammation. Inflammation is at the root of many diseases, including irritable bowel syndrome, hypothyroidism, diabetes, food allergies, autism, and cancer.
One of the biggest threats that has been twisted to scare people is the threat that citizens would have to pay more money in grocery bills and taxes per year. NoProp37.com is telling people that if the prop gets passed, local farmers to California would have to pay an extra $1 million a year to check if their food is genetically modified or not, and also to relabel all of their packages. They're also saying that the average American family would have to pay an extra $400 a year. However, these families would only be spending an extra $400 a year if they bought the genetically modified food from the corporations that they previously bought from. Locally grown and organic food is becoming cheaper and more accessible all across the state.
Alright, so one thing that corporations have made a huge deal out of is that when you sit down at a restaurant, the food that they're giving you, they don't have to tell you if they're using GMO products. And yes, this is true, but regardless of this, by voting yes on Prop 37, you're enhancing your own right to know what you're eating. Maybe not in restaurants, but with labeled foods, and that is a huge step forward from where we are right now.
Radio ads around California have been saying that there's 30 newspapers that have been not supporting Prop 37. What it actually is there's been 38 editorial pieces featured in these newspapers, and an editorial is just someone writing to the magazine, so that's not actually the newspaper taking a stand on the prop. This is just showing you how the corporations are trying to mislead you and how they'll do anything to get you to vote no on Prop 37.
Corporations have been bringing to the forefront of this debate that soy milk, which is genetically modified, must be labeled as such, and cows, which eat genetically modified foods, the milk produced from them must not be labeled. And while this is true, there's a huge distinction between soy milk, where the actual organism of the soybean is modified, and cows that are just intaking this modified food.
I feel like right now there's a lot of unclarity and unclearness as to what goes into the food that everyone eats. And right now, our world is at a tipping point in which we can either go forward or we're going to go back.
And America is one of the only first world countries on the planet that isn't required to list GMO products on a food label. But you can change this by voting yes on Prop 37.
Vote yes on Prop 37 so that you can know what you're eating.